In this video, I'm going to show you how to change the margins of a document in Google Docs. Now, a margin is the gap around the edge of the page where we don't actually print any of our text. Now, to see it more clearly, I'm just going to change the formatting of this paragraph here. I'm going to change it from left justified to fully justified, which gives me a nice clean line on the right-hand side as well as the left. Now, this is just applied to this first paragraph, so to apply it to them all, I'm just going to update my style, and that way all of my paragraphs have the same formatting and I can clearly see the margin around the document. Let's zoom out and see what it looks like. So there is the gap around the edge of the document where we do not print. Now, by default, Google Docs sets this to 2.5 centimeters. What if we want to change it? Well, the easy way of changing it is just to go to File, Page Setup, and you can choose your new width for your margin. So 2.5 centimeters, if we change this to 1.5 all around, then we get a much smaller margin for our document. So again, let's just zoom out so we can see the effect. We've got a small gap. That allows us to fit a little bit more on the page, and all is fine and dandy. Another way of changing the margins is to use the rulers. So let's just zoom in first of all, and then I'm going to go to View and Show Ruler. And at the side, you can now see the rulers that measure the dimensions of the page. And if we look at the side here carefully, you can see there's a grey area and a white area. The grey area indicates the margin, and I can change the margin just by clicking in between the two and changing the height of that top margin, for example. Google's quite nice because it shows us exactly, or gives us the measurement at the side. So you can see that's a 3 centimeter margin I've put in. And if I just put it back to 1.5, there it is. And we can do the top in the same way. It's a little tricky to get it lined up, but there we are. Let's move it all across. So there's a 6 centimeter margin. And let's move that back to 1.5 centimeters. One good example of where you will find margins being changed are when you need to print to letter-headed paper. So if you look at this example on the screen, you can see that there are some built-in margins to the design of this letter-headed paper. I took my ruler out and I measured the margins around the edge. And you can see that the left, the right and the bottom have margins of 1.5 centimeters. But at the top, because it's got the address already there and the name of the company, there's a much larger margin. And I measured this one at 4.5 centimeters. So if we set the margins to 1.5 left, right and bottom and 4.5 at the top, we will get this space where we can write our letter. I can then type in what I would want, and when I print it onto the letter-headed paper, this is what it would look like. So let's go and do that in our word processor. So it fits our letter-headed paper. Let's go to File, Page Setup. Now the top was 4.5 centimeters and all the other margins were 1.5. Click OK. And now our letter, let's just zoom out so we can see, has the space for our letter-headed paper should we print it onto the letter-headed paper.